Okay, so we're doing some viewer tattoos. We got one from a guy named Mark Trahan. He says, "Hey, just wondering what you thought of some of my tattoos. Picked a few of my favorites. If you want to throw out some ideas for filler, would love to hear it." So we have this skull crab guy, skull lobster,
It's a skull lobster.
some kind of crustacean,
Yeah.
whatever the case. He's got a lot of personality.
I think he looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the blue and pink.
I was gonna say I really like the blue.
He looks well healed. You know, this looks old but cool.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like old. Like I did it in the 90s.
No,
old.
it looks like it's like maybe a few years old. I
Yeah.
like the color choices between the yellow, pink, and blue. It's really, really nice. The skull gets to breathe really well too. The negative space in there,
Mm-hmm.
and having the color in the skull as well to bring it into everything else is a really wise choice.
Right.
The little cherries are cool too. The only thing I don't like about that is the fire's a little flat.
Yeah, the fire is a little flat.
Especially with how everything like everything else is nicely
So
colored
lined and stuff.
well, everything is like the colors are really nicely, like kind of balanced and blended, and then that fire is just it's a little bit too hard and not flowing enough.
Yeah.
I feel like if they had have used like a tone of red or one more tone of orange in there coming off the line, it would have picked this whole thing up a bit. But overall, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I
Wondering
agree.
do we get a better shot of this green guy up on the arm
Yeah, I
here?
want to know. Is he like a little?
Oh yeah, we see a little more of him here. We don't see much of him though. I don't see that whole dragon guy. Is he a
Yeah.
dragon? Some kind of a lizard of a kind? Unfortunately, like my ideas for background are always going to be stars and dots, especially in this one.
Spiderweb, stars, dots.
There isn't really a whole ton. He's done a spider web on his elbow. There really isn't a whole ton more you can do for background for all of this, but like I really do like all of these tattoos. I think the lady face probably should have been a bit bigger, and the placement is a little ignorant. So like the flowers, if they had a rounded the shoulder.
It would have been better. I
And
agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you bring the star down, and her whole face is on a better tilt. But he probably had the thing behind it before he did this one, is what I would imagine. I also think it's a strange thing, like the way that all of these are placed. It's almost like he's like framing his chest in with this sleeve the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just such a strange thing when you try and make a chest piece later, if you do. It's like the arm didn't need to go into the chest as much as it did.
Right. Yeah, it's taking up a lot of real estate that
Yeah.
could be used for a really good chess piece.
So we had a lobster on the other one, but here we do have a crab.
I like the
A really
crab.
cranky crab.
He's
he-
real angry, like an Oni
Yeah.
crab.
Yeah, he's very cranky. This is
Crabby crab.
I really like the orange they used. Again, I feel like they could have used one more shade of orange here, just to build in some more contrast and clarity to this guy. His whole face gets a little bit too orange for me.
Yeah,
almost.
it's a little busy. It's hard to read the face.
Yeah, I feel like if he had have had one more tone in there, it would have cleared up some things. And also, I would like to see all of this guy. I guess you probably need a video wrap to do it justice, but a lot of times those videos that people will send, they don't play. They're not the right
Format.
file or whatever format, and they just don't work. So, but the nice like green highlights on the claw and like the tips of his claws there is really cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to see his legs. It looks like he's got like little skip rope legs or something.
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
don't know what the hell's going on there. Really cool though. Lots of cool textures and very, very high in personality, this crab. So then he has his back piece and this trout. Is that a trout?
I'd say some sort of like
A
trophy.
giant fish on top of something. Is it an eagle and a dragon?
Is it a
or-
crane?
I don't know what kind of bird this is.
I
It's
think
a
it
lot
might be
of
like a
background.
crane. Eh.
It's very confusing and hard to read.
It feels like it should have been bigger, like taking up more of his back.
Well, he probably had that fish up there first.
Yeah, but they could have covered the trout with the.
Yeah,
Really
they could
proud.
have. but like this is all very ignorant placement, like ignorant style placement.
Yeah.
Like even the trout looks like he's on a bit of a fucking swivel. Mm-hmm. Like it's not on straight. But
Yeah.
the trout is actually really cool though. Like I really like the shading in the trout for what it is.
Yeah, he's not awful.
It's got that kind of like intentionally silly looking, like sort of bad but not. That being said, the skulls don't belong. Little skulls on his other shoulder.
I didn't see those. I can see them now.
I don't
though.
like the look of those guys.
I don't like them very much either.
The
Blast over them.
the sun is cool. It matches, but it's worse done than most of his stuff. But because it's in the same style, it's thematic. It works, but it's not quite as good as the rest of it. There are parts of this back piece that are cool. I like the way that the snakes are shaded. Like the underside, the underbelly is really cool. But overall, whatever the hell this bird is just gets lost.
In the gray.
The
The
gray
gray
is
and the feathers, it's all
overpowering.
getting lost together. Yeah, it's like smooshing up there. I can see the snake and the
And then
flower, and then it's smoosh.
Every part of it should have been bigger. Like all of this rose should have been the whole right side. The snake body should have come down the whole left side. This whole background should have been up here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like all of this whole thing was just done too small.
I agree.
So, unfortunately, though, I don't have really many suggestions for the arm other than dots, stars, and spider webs. Your traditional trad backdrops are going to be the only thing you can do. Maybe you can do little skull faces within the bigger spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that, like little trad skulls or something like that in the spots you have a little more room. But otherwise, it's just going to be spider webbing like he's already got, and dots and stars. And that's my main basic gripe with most trad work. So anyway, we're moving along to the next one now. It says, hi Remy, it's from a guy named Robert Israelson. I think that's how you say it.
All right.
Israelson. Hi Remy, made this sleeve a few years ago. Thought it might be fun to hear your opinion on it. Since then, chest and the other arm are also done. Keep up the good work. Really appreciate the content you make. Well, I'm glad someone appreciates the content I make. I thought I lost everyone with these eyelid tattoos.
Oh my goodness. The controversy is real.
Fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious.
They don't like your eyelashes.
They think it makes me feminine. I'm fucking anything but feminine.
Right.
I look grizzled, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm a fucking alley cat.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, people. Shake your heads. Give your heads a shake. It's fucking ridiculous.
I agree. It is
Anyway,
pretty silly.
this, I should be extra hard on everyone's work after that, but no. This sleeve I like, kind of. I like the idea. I could even get behind how small some things are here because it's a nice scene. Like, they really did make the scene.
Right.
But it's just too tonal. Again,
Right.
all you need is some heavy blacks in places. There are parts of this that, like her arm, I almost can't tell it apart from the robe she's wearing. Right? Like, it's just so tonal. Like, her arm has the same texture as the robe.
Right. I
and
agree
it's
with
same
that.
depth and shading as the robe. And the statue behind it is the same. The only part of it that has the right amount of black is in the clock. That's it. And I think the only reason why they did that is because they know you wouldn't have been able to see the hands otherwise.
Right? It's just like from far away, it's really hard to read what's going on.
If you got more than 2 feet away from this, you don't know what any of this is.
I am 2 feet away from it.
It's one of those nice sleeve, and it's like no one actually looks at what it is.
Yeah.
That used to happen with my tattoos, like my torso and my right arm. It was like, oh, that looks cool. It's like, you can't tell what any of it is.
Yeah, have you even looked at it?
Most people couldn't tell what was in my torso. Like, when I
Yeah.
tell people there was a bat in there, they're like, oh, there is a bat in there. After looking at it for a long time, things get lost. This is the same thing. Like, you almost can't tell what's in here. And it's too bad because what's in here is nice.
Yeah, I don't know, if they had put some like harder black above that dove, I think it would have been easier to see.
It's not done. Like, this is really easy to pry out.
Yeah.
Like, all that needs to happen here is, say all this gray background behind the rose, all of that is completely black now.
Right. Yeah,
Right?
I agree.
You firm up the edges of these leaves, put heavy black behind this statue, more heavy black in here, They got the right amount of black at the bottom of the bird here.
Yeah, only
You
at the
see what I'm-
bottom
Yeah,
and in the like little dip above its one wing, but it doesn't carry it far enough
in
up.
here behind the stem of the rose, that's all black. All
Agree.
this shit in here, black. All of the
Agree.
stuff, all the background has to be black.
Because
here.
it'll push everything
Yeah.
forward.
Like the subject matter, that the key elements of this are all really cool, and I even think they're really well done artistically. It's just, clarity wise.
Yeah, it's two tonal for
all
sure.
of these soft grays in between, in behind things, and like light grays that they've used, all need to go black. Because the only places that stand out here are where they put the heavy black. Otherwise, this is really fucking cool.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
so often you just cobble these black and gray sleeves together with a few things, and this one really looks like it was conceived together as a scene, and I really like that. So it's not a complete fail, that's for sure. There's just a few things you can do to really make this one stand out a lot better.